So yesterday, there was a press release that came out from NBC Sports Boston
out of the blue
that was announcing the broadcast crew for this year. And what's amazing about it is that I had to read it twice to even figure out that they had announced who Mike Gorman's replacement was going to be. It was buried like way in it, kind of near the bottom, almost like offhandedly. So the way that it was written is it was talking about all the different people. So Mike Gorman, who's entering his 43rd and final season, analyst Brian Scalabrine, blah, 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 sideline reporter Abby Chin. NBC Sports Boston will also welcome Drew Carter to the broadcast team this season as a play-by-play commentator for all Celtics preseason and regular season road games. Carter, a native of Minnesota with roots in Boston, had spent the last several years calling games for ESPN across a variety of sports. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, then that means that Wallach's most likely going to be here for a lot of it, for all of that. But then later on, it says that Drew Carter is Mike's replacement.
Yeah, he's got roots in Boston.
He is going to be the guy who is following a legend, and he's somebody that I don't know if anyone had really ever heard of it. He goes, it says, Gorman holds the longest tenure as a play-by-play voice for a Boston professional sports franchise. Following Gorman's final farewell season, Carter will join NBC Sports Boston Celtics broadcast team full-time for the 2024 season.
Yeah, you got the TV gig.
So he is going to be your new Mike Gorman. Now, who is Drew Carter? Well, I had to kind of figure it out myself.
No, I didn't. I knew immediately.
Did you? You really? You're a big fan of the games that he calls?
Yeah.
Which I can't other than the Toy Story thing?
I like lots. Any raven-haired short guy, I'm a huge fan of. I have a collection.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And unfortunately, he's also this.
Here's the thing. When those guys came to Syracuse, all I was thinking about is, I hope I'm in that chair one day. I hope I can pass down all the wisdom I've gleaned from those guys. Because, that's what makes Syracuse so special is the alumni base and the fact that they're so willing to talk to you and share their wealth of knowledge.
He is a Syracuse boy.
Another one.
Through and through.
Yeah, that's why you go to Syracuse.
They just churn out the guys in jackets, the blazers, jeans and sneakers, and say, be a vanilla reporter. Please go out there and play-by-play it. Get your smile. They crank them out at Syracuse.
Right now, you could turn on the Mad Dog Radio Network and hear Syracuse's own DA.
All right. So I want this to be less about our Syracuse boy here because, really.
Congratulations to Drew Carter. I only hope that you will, when Gorman's finally gone, that you can step into his shoes and do our show once a week. It will be the same.
Yeah. This is like, I think this is the Syracuse radio show, and they had Drew come back, I believe. Oh, yeah. This is the intro to their
Hi, I'm Michael Ricky along with Garrett Clare. Welcome to another episode of the FL1 Sports Podcast on FingerLakes1.com and a special edition of our very own CR Sports Podcast. Today we'll be talking to one of the hottest up-and-coming sports broadcasters in the country, and he is Drew Carter. Drew, thanks for coming on today.
This is amazing. You know what I did in high school? I wrote for the school newspaper. I had my own column called Swooping and Hooping with Drew, and I read the announcements on the newscast every morning. That's what I did. And here you guys are with this professional show. You have an intro. You have animations. You have Paul making the magic happen behind the scenes.
You got all these pens. Yeah.
You're talking in natural voices. Everybody is. When I was in high school, I had a column in the school newspaper called Hoopin' and Doopin'.
All right.
It was a little razzle-dazzle.
I joke a little bit about the Syracuse type of product that comes up, but that sounded way too Syracuse for me, right?
When I was in high school, I was just doing the announcements. You guys have a podcast, which is actually less hard to do than the announcements, because at least the announcements, only one guy could do them. Literally, any jackass could put together a podcast.
All right, so Drew Carter might be the greatest guy in the world. I
love to give dumb praise when it's not deserved. Hey, way to figure out how to use the mic on your computer.
You got a borderline porn theme song at the very beginning. I love it.
I love Kay Parker.
So, but I got to be honest. When I saw that, it immediately said to me, "Well, that means that John Wallach isn't going to be moving up because Sean Grandy is not going to be getting the TV job." Now, John, I say this with all sincerity. I feel bad for you because I know how much you really.
I'm not willing to
say
that that's over.
It's over.
I
Dude,
don't know if it's over.
The press release came out.
The TV job is over, but that was never going to be John's. I don't know if Sean Grandy, how he feels about all this.
No. I never thought John was getting the TV job.
No, but I don't know if John's not getting the radio job.
He's not. Grandy just signed an extension.
I think.
Yeah, but I don't know if Grandy is going to see this in I don't know. I refuse to throw in the towel yet on you, John.
Grandy,
and I'm not being sarcastic.
So why would Grandy quit?
Because he's pissed off that he was overlooked. It's embarrassing a little bit. And not that Grandy did anything wrong at all, and I'm being dead serious here. But I would be a little embarrassed if I was Grandy, just naturally, and I mean this with empathy, not as being a dick. I a lot of times will just say things bluntly and I don't mind if it comes off as being a dick. I mean this completely with empathy and as someone in the business. Like it's happened. Things have happened to me in the business where I felt like a little like let down, and if I was Grandy, I'd feel a little bit let down. Like all the public commentary about it is like, why didn't Grandy get the gig? And maybe, just maybe, he just goes, you know what? My time here in Boston, I don't feel like doing it anymore. I always thought I was going to get the TV job, and now that that's not the case, maybe I'll go to another market and try to get a TV job. Or maybe I'll do something else. So John, and I'm being dead serious here, I am not ready to throw in the towel for you because I asked you if they had said anything to you, and they haven't said anything to you.
No, I've not heard anything from management, but my understanding is from other people that Grandy is staying put and is going to do the radio.
Yeah, but I don't know how long Grandy is going to stay put for. I don't know anything. When I say I don't know, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't, and neither do you.
It's weird. We kind of make fun and joke about Grandy on the show, but I legit felt bad for him yesterday.
I felt bad for him
too.
I
saw that announcement and I'm like, man, can you imagine? Because the thing is like that is, how many years did he say to himself, well, when Mike finally retires, this would be the natural progression. And then for him to do all the TV stuff last year, and you thought that was going to be it, and then they bring in a 25-year-old kid, which, by the way, is a struggle. Think about it. If I'm doing my math correctly, how old would he have been when the Celtics won their last championship?
2008.
So, like, what,
15
11?
years ago?
Like,
no,
or
10.
like 10 years old?
He was in fifth grade.
I'm not surprised that because they probably want another guy to do a run like Gorman. They probably said, like, we want a guy that can do, 25 years of this, 30 years of this. But I don't know if John's not getting the radio gig. That's still up in the air.
He won the Jim Nantz Award for best collegiate broadcaster.
Does that come with a tie? Do you get a tie with that?
Yep, and a burnt piece of toast, of course.
All the cool kids in college doing the play-by-play.
He's extremely polished, which, once again, he's 25. He's going to he's going to sound more natural.
I was 25 when I got my first morning show, and I got to tell you, I was ready for it. I didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, listen, this is not as much about him as that I just felt really bad for Sean yesterday, and then obviously I felt bad for you that you're stuck with our asses for a while.
It's because you didn't. Well, that's up in the air too. We don't know how long John's going to be here because he could get fired at any moment. I don't know his contract state, but I will tell you this. Is that if only you would have gone to Syracuse?
I know.
You went to school and
went to school right nearby.
Right nearby.
5 minutes away from there.
You didn't. You don't have the alumni connections. You didn't have that. It was just
I don't know,
you wasted
the
away.
Handshake. I don't know.
And I don't know if he's like this. And I'm not going to judge him. We'll obviously we're just now meeting him. But man, Syracuse. Lately, it's just been a farm for these just soulless broadcasters.
Lately, it's everybody is from Syracuse. That's why they all go there, and because they're all dorks that wanted to go into play-by-play when they were in high school. So, which is if you're in, that's what you want to do in high school. You should want to be like a fireman, but or like do something cool. You don't want to be a play-by-play guy. Boo. What do you want to 162 games on the road calling radio baseball games? That sounds like hell on earth.
You'd be amazed at how many minor league baseball broadcasters there are.
Just hell.
I got to tell you, when it comes to the woo, Liquid Swords is where it's at.
No,
they really got that bag.
What if he is just like a well, that's the worst of them. That's the worst. He's unlistenable. Robin Lundberg. Robin Lundberg's like a problem. Robin Lundberg's a problem. When Robin Lundberg's on, I'm like, oh my God, like why is this guy like? And there's plenty. I don't really critique that many radio people. In fact, when I talk about them, they're people that I listen to, like Mad Dog and stuff. But But Lundberg's the only guy on the radio that I can think of where I'm like, holy Jesus. Like, this is and I listen to a lot of radio, and I'm like, this is really bad. Really, really bad. Really, and then, like, really, like, hard to listen to, embarrassing.
So is this like a trend, John, with these 20-year-olds that are getting... Now, listen, as I said, there might not be anything bad with them.
They probably don't pay them very much either.
Well, that's probably a huge part of it as well, is that you can get them under your control young for not a lot of money. And also, they're too young to have made enemies in the industry.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I wonder if he makes any more than Grandy does.
That.
I bet you he doesn't make any more than Grandy does. And I bet you he might make less than Grandy. How about that? I bet you he make I got my 25, so that was the year 2000. So I got my first morning gig 2000, end of 2000, around then, maybe 2001. But I'm thinking about this. So 25, 26. I bet you I made as much money getting that morning gig as he's getting paid at the TV station. Boom.
Probably.
I think you're right, though, Rich. The trend in the NBA is to hire much younger. I mean, the Clippers.
You know that in NBC Sports Boston doesn't spend any money.
Noah Eagle, who used to do radio play-by-play before becoming a big TV guy this fall for college football.
Iron Eagle's son.
Yeah, Iron Eagle's son. They just replaced him with a kid who just graduated USC last summer.
Yeah, so
he's 22 years old. He's doing the radio broadcast for the Clippers.
It's to save money. It's to save money. It really is. I guarantee the kid's not making any money. I bet you Grandy makes more money than him. Yeah, I bet you anything that Grandy makes more money.
I'm sure you're right.
Which, if I was Grandy, would make me feel better.
Well,
I'm just going through my own mental Rolodex and what it
John,
required me to
I'm watching. Yeah, I see it.
John, I mean, John, I don't mean to sound like a therapist, but how are you doing this morning?
I'm not going to lie to you. It sucks. I mean, look,
don't throw in the towel yet.
I wanted to do more games last year, although I was away from this show a lot. I really enjoyed myself. I grew up listening to the Celtics, watching the Celtics. I thought, it would have been kind of cool, the natural progression of things, but this is how it is. I've told you this on and off the air many times before. I genuinely enjoyed being here, so this is not a bad thing.
No, I know what you mean.
It's not like a tragedy.
But your number one was to do Celtics games. You've always said that.
I've always told you that, but it looks like that's not going to happen.
Well,
it's such.
I understand your point, Fred, but from my point of view, it looks like that's not going to happen. Sean is staying as the voice of the Celtics, and that's
who knows?
Like once in a career does something like this open up.
Exactly.
And it finally opened up, and then things didn't work out this way, and now you got a guy who's 25 years old, which means 50 years from now is when that chance will happen
again. So when I'm like 107.
The play-by-play guy for the Cardinals got his third DUI and got fired. So you never know. I mean, there are things that happen.
So root for shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, people make mistakes.
When my grandchildren have kids, then I'm in.
But think of all the mistakes you made from 25 on. I'm just talking to the audience
I'd
out
rather
there.
not.
Like all the life changes and all the mistakes you made. 25 is pretty young. And I was in a fairly high-profile position at 25, 26. I can tell you that that you make a lot of mistakes. You never know.
So I bet your wife's happy, though.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not going to be traveling as much. I get that. Yes. And as I said,
honey, I'll be back in 10 days.
Yeah,
she wasn't a big fan of that.
I know. And you are legitimately really good at doing it. And we haven't been kissing your ass. You're really, really good at it.
Yeah.
But maybe Fred's right. Maybe you know what? Maybe what this will do is it'll put a spotlight on Sean, because there will be, I don't want to say backlash, but there will be talk saying, I can't believe Sean didn't get it. And maybe Sean might get a TV gig somewhere else that he might want.
And you want to know something seriously, too? Would you want to be the guy who took over for Gorman? Would you want to be the guy?
You don't want to be the
guy who took over after the guy who took after
What's
Gorman?
The term, or what's the phrase? It's you never want to replace the guy. You want to be the guy that replaced.
I don't want to be David Lee Roth.
Do you want to be Rover and David Lee Roth and all those guys that replaced Stern, or do you want to be us?
Saviors that came in.
Yeah.
That's right. Ta-da!
Or do you want to be us?
Fred and I on a big white horse showing up going, David Lee Roth, be gone!
And then you can get to a point in your career where you can get better ratings than any other show in the country and still be considered a disappointment. Which, if I'm looking at it that way, you have to realize how unfair it is. Yeah. The standard is really not fair.
Well, John, listen, I mean, you're going to still do Bryant games? No. You're going to continue to do that? Okay.
Bryant games are back on. We're doing the schedule starting beginning
Why
of next month.
Why don't you do UConn games or something?
That's a further drive.
So what? Fly. Make them fly out there. Make them take you to a helicopter. Okay, I got to show you, Rich, this video when we get off the air.
Sean got screwed.
It's money. It's money.
Maybe that's the case.
It's money.
And as I said, this is not anything against the new guy. He doesn't know. Listen. I take that gig too.
If I was in a union, I'd be pissed at the kid for not taking any money.
Maybe that's the case. But nothing against him. But Sean got screwed. And in essence, Sean got screwed.
I tend to agree. I mean, they didn't want to pay Sean.